Next I'm going to be making some classic white bread. This is my mom's cookbook. It's a Betty Crocker cookbook. It's not sponsored in any way. My mom just really likes this bread, and it's really simple and easy. So in here, now to start off, I measured in here because they call for 6 to 7 cups of flour. So I put 7 cups of flour in here. And here I measured out 3.5 cups. And then here I have 3 tablespoons of salt that I'm going to add to this, sugar, sorry, that I'm going to add to that. So I'm going to write the recipes below. The recipe, so if you don't get it as I'm saying it, don't worry, you can look in the description box and it will be there. So there's 3.5 cups of flour. There is 3 tablespoons of sugar. Here I have 2 tablespoons of butter. It calls for, you can use shortening or softened butter. And all I had was butter, so I used the butter. And then over here I have 1 tablespoon of salt that I'm going to put in there. So I got flour, sugar, salt, butter. And here is, it calls for 2 packages of regular, active, or fast-acting dry yeast, which equals out to be 4.5 teaspoons. So in here is 4.5 teaspoons of dry yeast, and I'm going to put that in there as well. And there's just a little bit left. I'm going to scrape at the bottom. Okay, so now it says to stir all this stuff together till it's really well mixed, and then I'm going to add 2.25 cups of warm water, and I'm going to beat it with an electric mixer on the low speed for 1 minute, and then I'm going to scrape the bowl, and then I am going to beat it on medium for 1 minute, scraping the bowl, and then after that's all done, I'm going to start adding the flour, the rest of my flour over here, in a little bit, just to make the dough workable. So I'm going to go ahead and get this all blended up, add my water, and I will be back. As you can see, it's a nice, smooth, creamy batter. Now I'm going to go and just slowly add some of my flour and just keep mixing it until I am able to get it into my hands without it sticking to me. so it is 8 o'clock right now. My camera is like a little dirty, greasy, I don't know. So basically I let my bread rise, and then I punched it down, and then I put it into 2 separate greased pans. I just greased them up with butter, and then I added some melted butter. I just brushed some melted butter on the tops of them, as you guys can see. And then I have just some parchment paper on top. They call for plastic, but I don't have any of the plastic wrap, so this should work just fine. Now I'm supposed to leave it for another hour, so around 9 o'clock they should be ready. Sorry about that. I'm going to see if I can clean these up a little there. So at 9 o'clock they should be poofed up and ready to be baked, and then I'm going to put them in the oven, and I put it at 425, and they bake for... you guys are blurry. At 425 for 25 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, or until they're deep golden brown. So, and this is what it's supposed to make, this bread here. And so far it's awesome. Like, the last time I made bread, it didn't puff up half as much as this stuff did, so that's pretty awesome. I was pretty stoked about that. So yeah, this is just like a classic white bread. I will, instead of writing all this stuff down, I'll just leave it like right here for a second, and you guys can pause it if you want and write the recipe down and the instructions. So there you go. It's simple, but it takes a long time. It takes about 3 hours. So yeah, I started around 6. From 6 to 7, I'll let it sit, and also from 7. From 6, yeah, I started. I don't remember what time I started actually, but all right. So I think that's all that I have to do. All right, sorry about that. Okay, so I don't even remember what I was saying. I'll come back when the bread is ready to be put into the oven. Okay, I did that. Cover loosely with plastic wrap and let rise in a warm place for 35 to 50 minutes. So actually, I might not even have to wait until 9 o'clock. I might be able to do it a little earlier, so I'll wait and see how big they get. So yeah, once they puff up, they should be ready to go. And then I already moved my oven rack to the low position, more or less, so that the top of the pans will be in the center of the oven. Then I'm going to wait till it's closer to the 35-minute mark to heat my oven, and then I will bake it. And then they should be ready to cool, and then when they come out too, after you brush the loaves with the remaining butter. So I'll just probably heat that back up if it turns to thick. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. We've been talking about different ways to like save money and stuff like that, and we've got this great big thing of flour here, so we might as well make use of it. I will be making some sandwiches for the freezer. That will be on a totally different vlog, so you guys will have to join me for that. But I will be using the store-bought bread for the sandwiches, but this stuff here is so, like, the homemade stuff is awesome for like toast and chicken salad sandwiches and different clubs, different things like that. So if I can start making the bread, because it's fairly simple, like all you need is flour, sugar, salt, butter, yeast, water, and butter, just for the top. And that's like basically it. That's, to me, and that's all. If most people have that on hand, not necessarily everything, but if you've got that on hand, it's going to cost you a lot cheaper than to go out and buy a loaf of bread for whatever price they are. I get mine at a local bakery shop, Ben's Bakery Shop, and they sell for, I think it's like $1.59 a loaf. So that's where I usually pick up my bread. So it's still pretty frugal when it comes. I'm still frugal when it comes to buying my bread. So, and they have little cards where every time you go, they like, if I buy $10 worth of stuff, they mark off $10 on the little card. So every time, if I buy $10 worth of stuff, they give me $10, like they check off $10 on the little card, and eventually I can get free bread and stuff like that. So it's pretty awesome. So I'm gonna stop jibber jabbering, and I will show you guys my bread when it is done. As you guys can tell, it is already starting to. Oh my God, it's dirty under there. Okay, forget it. Forget what it looks like under my stove. Under my stove. As you can see, though, they are already starting to rise, so that's pretty cool. So I will bring you guys back when it's time to put them in the oven, and I'll show you guys actually how much they came up. Okay, so it is about 8:45, and as you can see, the bread has like really doubled in size. I hope they bake okay. I don't know if I'm supposed to push it down more. I'm just waiting for my oven to heat up to 425. I'm just going to reread these instructions. I almost feel like I want to poke them down. I'll try poking one down and see how it's... I'll poke one down and I'll leave one like that. See how it turns out. A lot of noise around here at night. Okay, so I'm just gonna do like more or less like a little experiment. Let's see which one turns out better. So I'm just waiting for my stove to beep, and when it beeps, I will put it in the oven for 25 to 30 minutes. And I'll just keep checking on them, and then I will show you guys what they look like when they come out of the oven.